Am I the asshole for telling my sister that IDC about the baby she lost? I, 20 male, and my sister, 23, have been very close since she lost her baby. She lost the baby at the end of 2022 when she was about 5 months pregnant. Obviously, our whole family was shocked and very supportive initially. However, I really tried to help her through this and get her back on her feet, coming to her apartment to clean and cook her food. It also doesn't help that her baby daddy left shortly after. My sister was unable to work because of her depression, so my family would help chip in and pay her bills. She remained like this for about 7 months when my parents told her that they couldn't no longer support her when all she does is lay in bed and smoke a lot, like 24/7, but they don't know that, and that she at least needs to look for a job. She lashed out and said she needs their support now more than ever. Regardless of them, I began to solely supporting her. Mind you, I still live with my parents and attending school. That brings us to last Friday. I have about 3 semesters left of school, and money has been getting tight. I told my sister that I really need to start saving and that she needs to get a job or just move back in. She lashed out on me, saying that I could never understand, 100% true, and that I was a terrible brother for even mentioning it. I said, "Excuse me? I've paying for your bills for over a year and have been the only one trying to help her get over this." She began yelling at me and calling me terrible names. I just snapped and said jaff about her dead baby. I did none of this for that baby. I helped her because I love my sister. I want what's best for my sister. I want her to recover. I told her this, and she started attacking me. I just left. The next morning, my parents sat me down and told me what I said was very wrong and rude. I explained what happened and how I still continued paying her bills after they stopped. They just were quiet and then just left. My mother grabbed my shoulder and told me that my sister started to apply for jobs. I really feel bad, but also to a certain degree it worked, and she is at least looking to work. I know my sister will forgive me eventually, but I still feel bad. Am I the asshole? You shouldn't have said you don't care about the baby. But she was clearly in a hole she had no intention of climbing out of. And sometimes the only way to help people like that is to toss in a stick of dynamite and blast them out. Which is precisely what you did. The question is, how much did it help? And I have a feeling the answer is not a whole lot. Everyone sucks here, especially your parents, for essentially letting your sister vegetate in a pot of grief rather than get her into some kind of counseling or therapy. Edit, striking incorrect info. Why can't you bring up an off-topic point? She has been in therapy since shortly after losing her baby. So I'm wondering why the therapy has had no progress, and how is her therapist just fine with her like this, without offering additional help? Okay, sorry. Well, just because your sister was seeing a therapist doesn't mean she was telling her therapist the truth. So that's one possibility. Sister also has to follow the advice of the therapist for therapy to work. My sister going to come for dinner, where we will talk about what happened. If you guys are interested in an update, LMK. BW, I have paid for my sister therapy off and on since she lost the baby, and solely after my parents cut her finically. Am I the asshole for telling my stepdad feeding his kids is not my problem? And so what when he tried to say they would go hungry? My mom had a major surgery 2 weeks ago. She's still in the hospital and won't be home for another few weeks yet. I, 16 male, am home with my stepdad and my half-brother and sister since my dad isn't in the picture. But my half-siblings go to our grandparents during the day, and my stepdad picks them up after work. Sometimes he will keep them with our grandparents for a few extra hours if he's visiting mom and stuff. My stepdad also has 2 kids from his other marriage. His daughter is 11 and his son is 10. My stepdad's kids treat my mom like shit. They're being trained to act like that by their mom, and my stepdad and her have been in court so many times in the last 5 years. But nothing has changed with their behavior toward mom and him, and his ex still fight often about it. His kids call my mom names, say she feeds them shit, tell her she's fat and ugly, and they gag whenever they know she cooked for everyone. It's gross. They told my mom. Their mom was better than her in every way, and she'll never be good. My stepdad punishes them and all that, but it's crazy how hateful they are to mom. They're also really rude to mom's family. I don't really have any affection or patience for them, so we don't interact. But mom gets it a lot. When my mom was brought to hospital, they said, "Good, we hope she dies." My stepdad looked incredibly pissed at them, and I acknowledge he intervened immediately. But all of this means I want nothing to do with them, and I'm so glad when they're not at our house. I really dislike them. My stepdad wants me to feed his kids anyway. He gets home late, and he doesn't want to pay for them to stay with a sitter for an hour or two. He also doesn't want to send them to their mom, which I get, so he wants me to provide some food for them, and I said no. He told me his kids need to eat, and I said it's not my problem, and he does not want me left in charge of his kids, ever. He told me they'll go hungry without someone to prepare something. And I said, so what? He told me my attitude could use some work. He said he needs my help. And he's sorry they said what they said, but I need to understand, their mom has poisoned them so much. He told me it won't be forever, and I make myself food already, so can't I make some extra? Am I the asshole? I feel that way now more than ever after what they said. 11 and 10 can actually make their own food. They don't need gourmet. Dad can leave them something easy. They can prepare themselves, right? Even if it's a microwave frozen dinner or a sandwich, they won't starve. My stepdad does as well, but he's not around much right now because he's going to the hospital to see mom most days. So he's not home until later. But he cooked some nights and took care of his kids once he made it home. But my mom did do a lot, and I always realized, but I think he's really seeing just how much she does and how important her patience is, because most wouldn't lift a finger after everything his kids put her through. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the Books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.